Well, yes, so the Bajaj Finance has remained the top Nifty gainer in terms of the year-to-date returns. The stock has been up 45% in terms of year-to-date returns as well. Now let's also look at the performance of the stock. Now the stock has clearly outperformed its benchmark in terms of Nifty financials. Now what if we can see the performance, what we have seen is the 155% return from Nifty financials, outpaced by Bajaj Finance with a 220% return in the last 5 years. Now let's also look at the concerns of FY25 for this particular stock. Now firstly, what we have seen is the management that has revised their credit cost guidance. Now this was done in Q2 of FY25, where the credit cost was revised to 2.05% versus from the range of 1.85%. So what we have seen is an increase in the credit cost, which led to a decline in the stock as well. What we have seen is a 15% decline in the stock from that September to October 2025 mark as well. Also, the Rajiv Jain has been the concern of Rajiv Jain being elevated to Bajaj Finserv also remained a concern for Bajaj Finance as well. Now let's also look at the asset quality. Now the asset quality pressure from the company has been continued to persist. In fact, the asset quality from the two-wheelers and three-wheeler loans continue to persist for Bajaj Finserv in FY25 as well. Now let's also look at the broader view. Now let's look at the 10-year returns for the Bajaj Finance. Now what we have seen is if we look at the calendar year stock returns, now the stock has given 8 out of the last 10 calendar years, the stock has given a positive return. In fact, we have seen a negative return in 2022 and 2024 as well. Now, if we talk about the long-term guidance for the stock, now what we have seen in terms of long-term guidance, now the company is guiding for AUM growth of about 25 to 27%, profit growth of about 23 to 24%, and GNP and NPA mostly stable at 1.2, 1.4, and an NPA at 0.4 to 0.5% as well. Now let's also look at what's working for the company in FY26. Now, if I talk about the FY26, now firstly we have seen the consumption pickup which has taken place from the GST reforms, which will aid for Bajaj Finance. Also, the leadership overhang. Now Mr. Anup Saha has already quit, and the Rajiv Jain has been returned as the MD of the company for the next 3 years till 2028 as well. Now also the company has met their credit cost guidance for FY25 2.07%. Now this is what something is really interesting about the company. They have always been spot on in terms of their credit cost guidance, and also they have guided for the credit cost to improve, and if in terms of margin they expect a bit improvement in margins for FY26 as well. Now let's look at the current valuations for the company. If I do the current valuation, the current price to book remains rich. It's trading about 6.4 times its current price to book, still rich in terms of the peers. However, if I talk about the 1 year forward price to book, it stands at about 5.02 times. Now below its 5-year average 7.24. So not an interesting play in terms of the valuations as well. Now let's also look at the analyst recommendations, what analysts are suggesting for the stock. What we are seeing is that 21 buys and 5 sells with a return potential of about minus 1.3%. So not a very interesting in terms of analyst recommendations is what we are looking at.